Well, some analysts say the state of our economy is so uncertain that they're now looking at some non-traditional indicators like marriage and dogs and guns.
It's a good combo. Is it all of that just a shot in the dark?
Here to answer that question is the host of Sunday Morning Futures, Maria Bartiromo. Maria, it's great to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Guns, dogs, and marriage. Are these valid indicators?
Well, you're really just looking at the activity. I mean, when you look at weddings, that typically leads to buying homes, buying things for the home, having children. That's an easy one. Guns as well. It's once again, when you're looking at gun sales, it's just one of those disposable items, if you want to go that route, that you're spending money on. So people look at these things, the same with buying a dog, as something as sort of non-traditional, but it indicates a confidence.
So
that
when
you
these
go out.
numbers are up, when people are buying lots of guns, dogs, and getting married, economy's getting better?
Well, it shows that, yes, that's a sign of confidence and positive. But I have other non-traditional ones that I like to look at away from that, like, for example,
divorces?
Restaurants. Restaurants and hotel occupancy. Because what we saw earlier in the year and at the end of last year, when oil prices plummeted, everybody was trying to figure out when are people going to start spending money, the money that they saved at the gas pump. And retail sales were down for 3 months in a row, and we all were saying, well, obviously people are not spending money that they saved at the gas pump. Well, actually they were, but they were spending it at restaurants. All the sales of the major restaurant companies and the occupancy of hotels were way up. So what we saw was people were saving money and then they were going out to eat and they were spending on things like that. That's a non-traditional indicator. Another thing is all this merger activity that we're seeing, M&A. When you see lots of companies merging and getting together, that's a sign of confidence on the part of CEOs. So there are some non-traditionals out there.
So let's put up some of these full screens. I think these are fascinating, some of these non-traditional items and disposable income. Let's take a look at disposable income from 2013 to 2013 and how this, what are we looking at here?
Well, we're looking at a chart of disposable personal income where people's income is rising, but it's not being spent on the sort of, you know, steak and potatoes, if you will. It's things like gun sales. It's things away from, you know, your hard-earned income, and it's disposables.
Why not look at the traditional indicators?
Well, you can look at the traditional indicators as well, but they're just very uneven. I mean, you had the GDP report last week. It was basically flat. I mean, the first quarter was horrible. We were basically, you know, up 0.2%, which is too close to zero than you want to see. That was a weak number. And then on Friday, you had the jobs number out, which was a good number. So it's very much uneven. So people are just trying to look at other indicators of where we are right now.
Are people saving?
People are saving a lot of money. That's what they're doing, by the way. And, you know, it's interesting because interest rates are at rock bottom levels, so you're not making any money in your savings. You can have money in a savings account, money in a money market account. You're just holding on to it, and you're not sort of growing it because
people
so
are scared.
Much. People are scared. That's what you do when you're afraid. And that's what we're looking at in an economy that's uneven. People are not sure what's around the corner, so they're just sitting on cash.
Mattress.
Under the mattress, exactly.
You get much more of this expertise on Sunday Morning Futures, which begins in 13 minutes.
Yes.
Who's on your show today?
We're going to talk with Senator John McCain live. We're going to talk about the Iran bill. The Senate passed it in terms of allowing Congress to look at any negotiations and a final deal with Iran. So he's going to talk to us about that and really the behind the scenes of what went into it, because there was a fair amount of congressional leaders who really did not want this bill to pass the way it is. They wanted it to be tougher. Next week, it's expected to pass in the House, so we'll see about that. Then we've got former Senator George Mitchell to talk about what's happening in the Middle East, as well as General David Petraeus. Obviously, he led our ground forces in Iraq and in Afghanistan. We're going to get a check from him. He also had news just a couple of weeks ago on his own sentencing. We'll get into that as well.
Wow. I'd watch that. I will watch that. 12 minutes or two. Thank you, Maria.
Maria, thank you. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Oh, thank you so much, and to you. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Oh, coming